throws his way in. Touchdown, Eagles.
Better time than now.
Intercepted.
It has been all Eagles.
Going deep, touchdown.
Wow.
Eagles fly in Super Bowl 59.
Welcome back, everybody, to FS1's post-game coverage of Super Bowl 59. The Philadelphia Eagles are world champs. Our former Philadelphia Eagle.
Yeah.
Your big picture headline thoughts of this game was what, Mike?
Yeah, I was just surprised that the Philadelphia Eagles was able to come out and just really overpower the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs, they came out flat. They had no energy. And before you know it, they was down 24-0. Worthy, Kelsey, they only had one catch going into the half. And so, I was not impressed with what the Kansas City Chiefs came out and did. I expected a lot more. And I expected Patrick to bring this team back, but he couldn't do it. The Philadelphia Eagles was just on top of their game from start to finish.
To speak to the dominance of what the Philadelphia Eagles were able to do and shut down Patrick Mahomes, he didn't even get past midfield until late in the third quarter. Yeah. Your takeaway from this one was what, Charles?
Yeah, I thought, Mike talked about that team being overpowered. I watched, I was telling Julian, we were on the sideline watching, the Chiefs come out of the locker room, and watching it and looking at their line. And thinking about being on the field against, in the Eagles game against the Commanders a couple of weeks ago and looking at their line, their defensive line. That's why they got overpowered. And so my takeaway is that this defense came out and they dominated. They dominated in a fashion like two teams that I played, same team but two different years, the New York Giants. Because they could always get to Aaron Rodgers with four guys.
Right.
They never really had to send anybody. Yeah, no blitz. Never had to send anybody extra, and had A-Rod running around, and that's what they did to Patrick Mahomes, who is the greatest quarterback that we have playing right now. And then I talked about in the pregame show about there was going to be impact made by rookies in this game.
Yep.
And we got a young man whose birthday was today. He caught an interception for a touchdown, his first interception. And this man takes his thing in for a touchdown.
To the house.
And Quinyon Mitchell with a big hit that kind of set the tone early in the game, man. So the dominance of this defense, it's always great to see dominance take the front seat.
I know what you're
going to
say. That defense. You want to
say defense.
Hey, Jalen Hurts,
because it's the truth.
Win
championships.
It does.
Jalen Hurts said it himself.
It was a little similar to the last time the Chiefs lost in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes had a lot of pressure by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah. But I want to get over to Kellen Moore. I called him out early in the pregame saying he was going to come out here and put a show on in front of his potential home stadium and his home people, and that's what he did. You take a look at the stats. They stayed in with what got him here. He ran the ball 36 times. They only threw the ball 22 times. They controlled the game. It was long, methodical drives, and it seemed like he just called the right play at the right time. The Devontae Adams shot to seal it. I mean, it was Devontae Smith. It was a very good game plan by Kellen Moore.
How surprised are you, Charles, with the inability of, we know what Andy Reid's second half adjustments, what he can do, that they weren't able to get anything going in the second half and the whole game, but even with the halftime adjustment?
Honestly, I think Mike said it when he was just talking a second ago. They kind of look off a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't look like they played with the same energy and intensity as the Philadelphia Eagles. And then again, I can't say enough about this Eagles defensive line. The last time this team played, you remember that Eagles team, they had 70 sacks in the regular season. But when they got to that Super Bowl, they didn't sack Mahomes. Today was a totally different story. We're talking about 6 sacks on Mahomes, but we talk about countless pressures at all. Along with that. But this defensive line, man, they had him stressed out all day. He was not letting the ball go with conviction all day. Every time he threw the ball, it looked like he was a little bit hesitant and a little bit gun-shy.
And then when your offense gives you that lead for the defense, then you can just let them rip.
You know what they say? Pin your ears back.
Exactly.
Pin your ears back. But the important thing, let me take this back. We talked about, again, this is another pregame thing that we talked about, is not rushing past the quarterback, rushing to the level of the quarterback, and then closing the pocket.
Collapsing.
That's what they did. Collapsing. Mahomes could not escape through those B gaps, and that was key.
When I look at this Philadelphia Eagles team, though, on both sides of the ball, I just see amazing personnel everywhere. Up front, the backfield, receivers, the quarterback, the back end on defense. Like, they really do a great job of bringing in the right personnel, putting the right pieces together, and they know what they're looking at when they're building teams. So I got to give a lot of credit to Howie Roseman.
Unbelievable job
Nick
that he's done.
Sirianni, all those guys in the front office who made today happen.
And I don't need to tell you about this, but Philadelphia media and fans, they don't have a lot of patience. When you saw the skid at the end of last year, then they started out the season 2-2, and we're going to talk of firing Sirianni. You also bring in 2 new coordinators. Let's not forget, these are 2 new coordinators on both sides of the ball. So all of these different things going on. What impressed you most, Jules, about what the Eagles were able to do this year?
Well, I want to go to something else. I want to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, they've been to this game 3 times in a row. We got to give them some credit. Back-to-back Super Bowl champs have never got to the Super Bowl. And I'm telling you right now, they ran out of gas because they've played in such long seasons. I know firsthand, when you go to the Super Bowl 3 times in a row, you get worn down. They got shorter off seasons. They have a lot more they have everyone gunning for them. So, I mean, they look like they ran out of gas, but they ran out of gas for a reason, because they just had a 3-year run that was a hell of a run.
Well, there's a reason it's never happened before.
Regardless of how you look at it.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to hear now from Andy Reid at the podium. Let's take a listen.
Listen, man, compliment to our fans and all the support that they've given us. Today was a rough day. We didn't really play well in any of the phases. Didn't coach good enough. They did a nice job. I'm proud of our guys, though, for the battle, the fight that they put in throughout the year, and all the games that they've played here over the last few years. So my hat goes off to the guys for that. And we'll learn from this. Like most games here, when you don't do very well, you learn from it as a coach, you learn from it as a player, and you move on.
There, the fans continue to party, and with that, we're going to check in with Christina Pink, who caught up with Jahan Dotson.
All right, Jahan, you made play after play to help this team to a Super Bowl victory. Being a champ, just what does this moment mean to you?
Everything. This is everything I ever dreamed of, everything that I came here to get. It truly is everything to me, and what better way to spend it with a bunch of guys like this.
You take yourself back to the moment where you're traded to Philly right before the season starts, and the path that you've been on, when you look back at it, how much did this moment change everything?
So much. Oh my gosh. Like, if I could have told you I'd be here 365 days ago, you would have laughed at me. But, you know, I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed to be able to go through the obstacles that I've been able to go through. And like I said, like these guys, man, I've been leaning on these guys all year, and they've had my back through the ups and downs. These are my brothers for real, so it's awesome being in this moment.
It seems like this has been a pretty motivated bunch. You guys talked about this being a business trip. What was the attitude coming in, especially with all the talk about the Chiefs trying to achieve history?
Unfinished business. Even the guys that weren't on the team 2 years ago, you got the gist. Just being around the guys, it was unfinished business, and we all day, all week, all year. We've been talking about this moment, and we made it come true.
Congrats, champ.
Thank you.